Here's part 11 of Gone to See the Riverman. We're almost done. Quickly pulled over for a break. Look at those rocks. So while Lori was talking to the Riverman in a plane of existence that isn't life, Abby was left in the cabin with Lori's lifeless body. Abby was confused and scared and wondering why her sister suddenly dropped like a fly. The door behind them slammed shut in the cabin, and there she saw the Riverman rocking back and forth on a little rocking chair in the cabin, shrouded by darkness. Wow, look at that. Abby was terrified, but even the mere sight of the Riverman didn't freak her out. She was more afraid of her sister. She called out to the Riverman for help. What happened to my sister? What happened to my sissy? Help her, Riverman. And all he said to her was, well, she's gone. Where did she go? She's in the river now, the one you rode up today. The same river you had your accident, and the same river your brother's remains were scattered. Abby was confused. She's like, those are 5 different rivers. No, my dear, that's where you're wrong. There is all but one river. The river that runs between you and your sister's world. The river of blood. The blood that is shed from you, Abby. Your river. Abby got flicks of memory of the incident about falling and hitting her head really hard in the creek. And something about Lori standing above her. But she just shook it off and she looked at the Riverman and she's like, I changed my wish. I wanted PD back. I wanted my brother back, but I want my sissy back. I want Lori. I want to go home with her. And the Riverman just looked at her and he said, well, she's chosen her journey. She's picked her way of life. You can leave. But Abby's like, no, we don't want to be in your river anymore. We want to go home. But the Riverman is just like, your sister's nature is toxicity. She seeks love in the arms of evil. She's a bad person. Her and I are almost done on my river. My song's almost over. She brought me a gift, but what do you have to bring to me? And Abby was looking around. She was thinking really hard. And she's like, my wish is I want my sister back. Pulls up Buzz's foot, and she was looking at the Riverman, and she saw all the bones and stuff that he was decked out in, and she's like, here, it's for good luck. And he takes the foot, and he's like, oh, joyous, a trophy that you took from your victim. No, Riverman, it's a present. It's for good luck. And he's like, all right. So the Riverman accepted the gift. Lori immediately woke up on the ground, and Abby's like, yay, sissy, you're awake. We can go home now. We can go home. You're okay. Yay. Lori was pissed. She's like, I hate the role reversal of you helping me. I knew what I wanted, and you took that from me. But they quickly gathered themselves up and left the cabin. And as they were leaving the property, out in the distance, they saw a rope swing that mimicked the one they knew in childhood. And behind the rope swing, peeking out from the tree, was Petey. He looked directly at Lori and said, she wanted you to throw me in that day at the creek, but you didn't. You waited until I was ashes to push me into the creek. And at that moment, he disappeared behind the tree. The cabin disappeared, and all the noise and light had returned to the forest. Birds were chirping, the wind was blowing, and the cabin was gone. But in that same moment, Lori looked at Abby, who was the young version of herself before she had her head trauma, back when she was 14 years old, smiling at her sister Lori. She grabbed Lori's hand and said, sissy, you ready? And they went towards the rope swing, towards the edge of the cliff, back in their childhood backyard in the forest. And Abby turned her back on the cliff and was looking right at Lori, and Lori heard in the back of her mind the Riverman's voice, you must finish what you started. You must tear apart the walls that keep you and Edmund apart from each other. And without a second thought, Abby smiled at her, and Lori pushed. Abby fell hard on the ground, limbs twisted, head snapped, literally like a 180, broken neck, blood everywhere. Her sister was dead. Yeah, right? Wasn't expecting that. So Lori left the trail. She started hiking back to the car without Abby, who is now dead. And she was thinking to herself pridefully the whole time, like, oh, now I can go be with Edmund. I'm gonna love and cherish him and obey him and do whatever he wants me to do. I will submit my entire being to be with this man.